If you want to hear from three-peat state championship coaches, this is the episode for you on the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show this week. Super excited to have the head football coach at Scottsdale Christian Academy, Mr. Mike Sheahan, and the offensive coordinator, Mr. Tyler Martin, on the show today. Really excited to talk about them and learn from them. They have won the last three state championships at Scottsdale Christian Academy and done some great things with that program, and we're excited to learn from them and talk a little 12 personnel stuff today. But before we get into talking to coaches, we are going to take just a moment to remind everybody the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show is brought to you by School Funder. School Funder, the only online fundraising company in America that lets you keep all of the money your team raises. Coaches all over the country would not give away 20% of their wins, yet every single time they do a fundraiser, they give away 20 to 30% of their proceeds. Don't do it. It's foolish. All the good people at School Funder at SchoolFundr.org and let them know the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show sent you. And while you're helping the show, hit subscribe right now. Viewership's gone up. Really excited about that. Trying to add subscriptions. The only goal of this show is to reach more coaches and try to help everybody learn more about the game. There is a lot of great stuff out there for young coaches, and we've talked about the teacher shortage, but there's definitely a young coaches shortage as well. So we want to make sure we can help as many coaches as possible. All right, so before we get into the scheme, I was thinking about this when I found out I was going to have you gentlemen on. I think whenever you're taking over a program, I really think, I don't want to say easy because there's a ton of hard work that goes into every program, but I think it is more, you're able to take a team from bad to respectable and respectable to good more easily than you can make that jump from good to great. And you guys took over a program that had been in good shape. They had certainly not, been unsuccessful, but really elevating that program from good to clearly the powerhouse of 2A with three straight state championships. What do you think were some of the keys? And I'll have you take this one first, Coach Sheahan. What do you think were some of the keys to kind of making that jump from really, really good program when you took over to a great state championship level program?
I honestly, that's a good question, but I feel like we just had some untapped potential in the throughout the school, right? We're a small school, but I felt like, especially these days, is everybody likes to kind of specify in one sport, and I kind of went in and recruited the basketball team, the baseball team, like anybody and everybody that I saw as an athlete or just wanted to be part of something bigger than themselves and part of an experience. And, we got basketball kids out my first year there. There was three seniors the prior year to me getting there. The year I got there, we ended up with 14. I went and got Hunter Wales, who's 6'7", and played defensive end for us. It was a basketball kid. He ended up getting more offers in football than he did in basketball. And honestly, I felt like I was at Notre Dame Prep for so I was at SCA, then I went to Notre Dame Prep for 9 years and did a lot of stuff underneath Coach Prelock. And what I did is I felt like, and maybe Ty can attest for this, but I took a big school program and just did the same thing at a small school, because why would it be any different? Why do we treat any level any different? Because I work these kids just as hard. We play in as big a tournaments as everybody else. The first thing I did was hey, we're playing in every sevens tournament, but we're not playing in smaller school tournaments. And that's nothing against smaller school tournaments, right? It's zero things about that. But I was like, hey, let's go play the 5 and 6As. Let's go get in the Gotta Believe. And we won our first Gotta Believe when I got there. And then we go to San Diego and we play with the biggest teams in California. I felt like I just wanted to up our experience for the boys, get everybody out, and coach these dudes like they could be coached. It doesn't matter the level of football. You can rise to the occasion of what you're coached to and what the demand is. And I think our boys have it. They're super intelligent. They just need to be unlocked. I love SCA, so I wanted to be there, and I'm my heart and passion went into it, and I just recruited the heck out of the hallways and challenged them like they'd never been challenged before, is what I truly think. That was a long answer. Sorry.
No, that was a great answer. I love that, Coach, kind of taking that big school mentality. I do know Coach Prelock. Full disclosure, Coach Bemis is kind of one of my coaching mentors. The late Scott Bemis, who was at Notre Dame Prep, was my offensive line coach and defensive coordinator when I went to McClintock High School. My uncle spent time as the offensive coordinator at Notre Dame Prep as well, Mike Gibbons. So tons of respect.
Wow, I didn't even know that. That's awesome. So it's like a small world over here. Small world.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. Coach Martin, anything to add there?
Yeah, I came over after their first state championship, and the first thing Coach Sheahan told me was, "You better get a second." That was the first thing after he hired me is, "You better not mess around and mess it up because we're going for two." And when I came over, it was I was more of a zone guy coming from Scottsdale Prep, and coming over here as they ran power counter, their gap scheme over here, and I had to learn quickly that the gap scheme is actually the way to go for us. And so what's broke, don't fix it, and for us is we adapted quickly, and we adjusted, and yeah, we got the second and got the third, and we're going for the fourth now.
Jeez.
Well, Coach Sheahan, before you got on with Coach Martin, I said, this is definitely, you're going to be your last year in 2A for a while. I would imagine, that move up. I don't know the formula, but I think it's probably coming. But huge respect for what you guys have done with the program. I really have enjoyed. I watched multiple of your championship games and seen a little bit of film that way, other type of things. But let me ask you this, Coach. You talked about kind of that power and counter mindset and a little gap scheme there. Coach Sheahan, this will go to you. When you're taking over a program, do you think it's most important for a coach to kind of match their scheme to their personnel, or to coach what they know? Because I've had this answer from different guys. I mean, if you've been a wing T guy, I don't know that you're going to go out and run Mike Leach's air raid. What do you think is most important when you're taking over a new program?
That's actually, so I feel like everybody gives you the question, like, you coach with the kids what they're good at. Like, you don't even know what they're good at until you put them in it. Why is a zone team good at what they do? It's probably because they got good teaching, good footwork, good hand placement, know what they're doing. And I feel like it all starts with coaching. Like, you can take a group of young men, and obviously you're not going to take a bunch of super fast 4-4 kids, 4-5 kids that run fast and run, double wing. You're not probably going to do that. There's a little bit of play to your strength of your kids, and there's a lot of play to the strength of your coaches. And that's how I feel. I feel like especially, and I think you can tell the difference in high school football where there's good coaching, there's okay coaching, and there's like, man, I really wish these kids were coached a little bit better just from being on the other sidelines, like just loving every kid that we ever see. It doesn't matter our side or their side. But I feel like it's like you have to play to the strengths of, yes, your players, but I think most importantly, your coaches, because these are young men. Their minds are still molding. They're still doing all these things. And like Coach Martin said, he was a zone guy. Like, I'm a gap scheme guy, but like they were kind of a zone team prior to the year I got there, and they were successful at it because they were coached by Coach Hellestrade and did a good job of zone. But guess what? We came over, we ran gap scheme, and we were also successful. So I feel like it's literally how it's coached, and especially with a high school kid. Right now, if you've got big old maulers and you're going to outweigh the defensive line by 30 pounds, run zone, dude. Double team, duo, get upfield. Like, sometimes you have to do that. At SCA, we're a little bit, like I joke about it, I feel like we have too much hummus and carrots opposed to filibertos, in our, like the kids are snacking on hummus at SCA opposed to just getting cheese crisp and eating bean burritos, which we need. So I feel like we got to go gap scheme, get a little bit more, we're faster, maybe a smaller, quicker kids. So I feel like getting those double teams are important, getting the kicks out is important, getting an extra hat in the hole is important, and I feel like the zone didn't necessarily work for us because we don't have those maulers. So there's another long answer. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's how I feel.
It absolutely does, Coach. I love talking about this. This next one's for you, Coach Martin. In a typical game plan, and this is an answer I've heard from different guys, it's kind of been all over the place a little bit. How many schemes do you think, because we're talking about zone, gap, how many schemes do you think an average high school offense can carry? Do you run, 4 run schemes, maybe 4, 5, 6 drop back passes? What do you think? How many do you think you would carry in terms of in each category? Run game, maybe quick game, play action, all those type of things.
So for us, I think we changed it. So when we talk about this state game coming up, we went into it only bringing in basically 4 run schemes and about 4 to 5 passing schemes plus RPOs. I think early on in the year we had a little bit too much. So we probably brought in 6 to 7 run schemes, within about probably 8 to 10 different passing schemes plus RPOs. So we wanted to be as basic as possible and make it more simplistic for this game and do the things that we do well. And it, I just did this today actually. See if this pulls up. How do I pull this thing up? Here we go. You see this? The Excel sheet that popped up?
I still got huddle, but you can
Oh.
walk us through it too.
So in the state championship game, we ran 4 different run schemes. We ran power counter, we ran a version of our lead, and then an outside zone. And then we basically had about 6 or 5 different base pass plays that we had, one being a boot, and then 2 just RPOs. And our RPOs are first level. We don't really do anything second or third level. I believe if you're doing second and third level, you might as well just run a play action pass or max protect and throw deep. So we just do that first level, hitches, outs, slant, stuff like that. But in before this game, we wanted to be more simplistic and do the things that we do well, very well. So our power counters where we thrived, and I think for us is that's where the majority of our runs had to be. So 22 of our 30 runs were from the power counter um, side of things, and I think the more you bring in, it gets a little fuzzy for these 16, 18-year-old boys. They have to know a lot more with the schemes and all that. If you bring in less and you do them well, and you bring in a little bit more formations, or you might have a motion here or there, you're running the same thing. It's just looking a little different, and that's what we tried to do against St. John's here, and um, it worked out for us. So I believe if you have, less is more in that situation.
I worked with a couple guys that coached with the late Paul Morrow, and he was big on when you get to
I'm so
those.
sorry about my pup. Sorry.
No worries at all. I got 3 at home. I was just
All right.
thankful that when Coach said we normally carry 6, 7 schemes, my daughter here in the back didn't scream 6, 7. So
I hate that. Man, I literally hate it. And I laugh at it now, but I still hate it. I literally hate it. Yes.
absolutely. But Coach Morrow he said anytime you get in those big games, you got to kind of dance with who brung you. You got to go with your schemes that you've been the best at all year, kind of regardless, and let the chips fall where they may, which I thought was a really interesting point by him. Before we get into the 12 personnel stuff from the state championship game, Coach, I always, whenever I have coaches on, I love to talk about practice planning. So walk me through a typical practice plan at Scottsdale Christian. How many periods, what length, different things like that. How are you guys going about putting your practice together?
Okay. So we probably have I practice plan on how I feel like the flow of everything is going. And that is day in and day out. I do not, and the coaches can attest to this. My practice plan will either come out right after the practice we just had, or next morning or next afternoon. Like I literally truly think of what I want to practice on every single day. So it's not the same. So here's my plan, and this is something I took from USA Soccer, and it sounds weird because I'm not a soccer guy, but I took from USA Soccer. I took this thing and we call it Fast Start. And what I learned from USA Soccer, they talked about working with kids and they talked about working with youth. And what USA Soccer has figured out is when you roll out a ball, that's how you start practice. You let them just start scrimmaging. And I'll kind of get to my point here in a second. So I'll kind of give you my whole process, but this is what I like to do. Is I like to start with something, obviously do your regular warm-ups and all that stuff. I'm just going to start with something fun, something competitive, or I'm going to start with fast start. Because what I'm trying to do is get these kids into practice right away, want to be here and want to be competing. So what I took from USA Soccer, they said if you roll out a ball and you start an inter squad scrimmage, for the rest of the time, those children or those young adults' brains are into practice. They're not slow. They're not thinking about what they were doing at school all day. They're not worrying about their girlfriends. They're not worrying about any of that kind of stuff. They're locked in and automatically competing. So we'll warm up, and I'll say fast start, and it's first team defense against first team offense. And we've got 2 series to go score on offense. We start on the opposite 40. We've got to get first downs. We're marking it. We're fast. We're in the huddle. We're play clock. And then as soon as we're done with that, so say offense scores, they've got 2 chances. So you got 2 or what is it? How did I do? If we score on that first drive, we're done. Then we start practice. We get an individual, group, team. But if we don't score, we've got 2 chances to go down and score. And what we started doing to make it a little bit more competitive is making the coaches run too. So if defense lost, you got a half gasser or a full gasser. Offensive, if offense lost, offensive coaches and the offensive players have half gasser. So my job is, and we've had pretty good success, is I want these kids to be at practice. Because I remember when I was in high school, I was coached really well in Kingman High School by Ray Smith and all these, like some legendary coaches. I truly think that. But I just remember it being a grind. And yeah, they got so much out of us and they do all this stuff. But I feel like the mentality of kids now is so different. You can get them to grind, but you've got to nurture that grind a little bit at the beginning. Let's get them to compete. Once they're done competing, they're locked into practice. They're already pissed off at the guy across from them. So now the rest of the practice, when they go to their one-on-ones, and they go to their individuals, and they go to their group, they're going. They don't want to lose another rep because they just lost a little bit ago. Or the coaches are mad, and there's competitiveness. So my practices, or our practices per se, is they're super competitive, high intensity. We got music popping. We're in and out of stuff. We break through stuff. Sometimes we go over a little bit. If I feel like a session's going really good, I'm not going to just be like, all right, cut this off. Let's go do something else. No, man, let's perfect this. Let's get better at this. Let's get really, really, really good. If something's working well, let's hit it a couple more times. And if something's working bad, I'm also that guy that's, I feel like it's like I attribute it to, like, if you ever teach PE for little kids. If the game's not going good, dude, quit it and do something else. Because what is it going to do to keep trying to, like, hammer something home with these kids if it's not working or that drill's not fluid, no matter how much you drew it up or whatever video you saw, dude, can it and let's go do something else. Let's get better today instead of, like, trying to do what this coach is trying to do. So I feel like the flow of practice is pretty quick. We've always got music popping. It's warm-ups, something fun, competitive. Then we'll do our individual competitive, group competitive, team competitive. Like, everything is always competing. So that's kind of, and even when we run, like there's like competition runs. I'd rather do a fun game, or like where these guys are doing a relay race where we've got linemen versus linebackers versus DBs, instead of, hey, get on the line, 40 and back, you've got this. Like, I don't want to do that. I want these guys constantly competing because they got to compete at the last minute when they're tired. So let's get that in their mind now.
I love that, and it kind of sounds like I've heard a lot of people talk about a wave theory in practice, kind of having one of those high intensity. You talk about kind of keeping it level like that the whole time, competing the whole time. I've heard some people talk about maybe a competitive period followed by a learning period, followed by a high intensity period, and then maybe a more kind of learning type period. But that's really interesting stuff, and obviously you have had great success with it. So love to hear that stuff. Not the same old that you hear from coaches, and I'm definitely going to take some of that with our practice. We've done similar to the fast starts, but I love some of the other stuff you talked about there as well. So, Coach Martin, we're going to turn it over to you now, and you got your screen up, and you're going to coach us up on some 12 personnel stuff. I will shut up and maybe occasionally ask a question or two, and it's yours, Coach.
Yeah, so for the state game, we brought out a whole new basically system. We never really showed a 12 personnel, 2 tight end set at all during the season. Going back to ALA, that little super regional game, it kind of showed a big kink in our armor when it came to our run game. I mean, we only ran it 7 times, had 11 yards. to
I
show
gotta go.
for
Why
it
do we have to talk about that right now?
because
Do you have to give stats, or can we just talk? It was a bad game. Can we
it
just
was a
do that?
bad game, but
Yes. Okay.
it attested to what we wanted to do in our run game. And coach brought it that next Monday is everything's going to be run game heavy. So we changed Timo from being split or um, Group O from being split up into routes on air and inside run, and we combined it everything together, and it was just team run. And we told the defense, hey, it's only going to be run plays. You guys know what's coming. Try to win. And I believe that it helped us in these situations where teams knew that, hey, they're going to run power, they're going to run counter, and he gave us a whole bunch of different looks. But coming into this state game, we wanted St. John's to be a little bit more vanilla, a little bit more basic in their defense. So having the two wings there, it allowed us to be able to run power and counter to both sides. We shifted in and out of it to try to see what they'd try to do. A lot of teams this year went to this head up nose, either a four technique or five technique on their tackles and brought up their outside backers. We didn't see it all 2 years ago. We always got that one and a three. And for our power counter, we love to run the power and counter to the three technique to get that double team up to that flowing backer. And we didn't get a lot of that this year. So we had to change those rules up of do you have a man on, do you have a guy in your gap, or are you going to that flowing backer? Um, and to start off this thing, it's a bad play. It's not a great start for us. This is the second play of the game, and this is the look that we thought we were going to get, where we have this three front, but then they walk their backers up. What we needed was this right tackle to hit this four or this five technique, and if he was a five technique, he was going to hit him out. If it was a four, he needed to hit that inside arm and push him towards that A gap. And these two knuckleheads here just went straight to this flowing backer and left the tackle. And this is just a power left for us. What we would like for our Y, our H back here, is to get that head on the other side. So his head is basically even with this. We want it to that upfield shoulder. It's a good seal by him, but if we would have blocked this guy, this pulling guard, the skip pullers coming to this play side backer, and then it's a one on one with that safety, and not it's a gain of nothing for us basically there. So reason I bring that up is we're not a team that likes to be behind the chains or being in a second and 10 situation. We always wanted a positive start. If we could get 3 to 4 on that first play, it seems like we could always just keep it moving and moving and moving. And with this game, we averaged about 4.5 yards a carry on all of our runs, which is nice for us. I mean, that's positive in that aspect. But saying it here is this tackle, he's in a four, right? He's in a four there. If he can, great. Let's step out and hook him and try to push him to this A. If not, just push him out. Leave him where he wants to go. But he just takes a straight line to this backer like they're double teaming this backer. And then we talked about it when they came off and we fixed it, and you'll see it coming up in the next couple clips that we actually get it and we actually get a hole there. In the second drive, we start this little ace formation and we motion them over to see if they adjust, right? And they don't really adjust the way that we thought they were going to, but they do leave a giant hole over here for us. And we'll just let it play out a little bit. Nice there, we cracked down. One thing we changed in this, going back here, is instead of making this outside backer the guy that we counter off of, we're kind of running that crab system that Lincoln Riley likes. Is now we're gonna weasel this tackle, that four technique. We'll block out with that left tackle to um, the outside backer there, and leave that guy. We'll crack him and we'll go. Oh, we're on the other one.
Yeah, that crab
So he's
counter
going
is
out
one
to
good.
that backer. We're leaving that tackle. Yeah, and so we actually changed that during that Wilcox game. Second half of the Wilcox game, I think Coach Sheahan came into the locker room, and this is what we changed come that second half of Wilcox is we started countering off that tackle, and it was very successful for us. Um, get a good block there, good seal, a good 8 yard carry there for us.
Is it cutting out a lot, or is that just me?
see a little bit
It'll
better.
it'll come out better on the setup. It looks worse than it is on this.
Gotcha. So zoomed in here, we got that four technique, five technique here. Walk down their backer when we shifted over. So this tackle saying out, out, out. He's gonna block him, and we're leaving that tackle there. Right there, he takes a step out, so there's a giant hole already that we get set up in. A nice little crack there. Our Y's coming through inside upfield shoulder, sealing him off, and then we just cut through.
You know why I don't like zone is because how pretty of a play is that? How
That is
pretty
that,
of a play? Like it's pretty. It's pretty.
it does look good. I love the adjustment too. We would call that a fan or an out call. But who did you have?
Yeah.
Must have missed it on the first one. Who were the two pullers there? You had one of your
So
wing
it's a
tight ends. Was
GY.
that the one that guarded? Okay, it was a
Yeah,
GY
so when we
counter.
shifted, yeah, GY counter. So we were in our ace formation double tight. We shifted over, and then we pulled that Y across with that guard. So that guard's kicking out, that Y's wrapping through.
And that was the inside of the two guys. That formation's really popular
Yep.
where you get those two guys on the wings. We just had offensive coordinator, now he's the head coach of Seton Catholic, Matt Hanshaw, on the show, and he talked about that formation being kind of had been really good to him, and I love seeing that there.
There's just a lot of things you can do out of it that we found were very successful. You can run the play action, you can run the RPOs out of it, and then obviously our counter was very successful. I think we averaged about 6.5 yards a carry on our counter out of these formations. So it was very successful play for us, very efficient.
We
So
did
this,
switch to pistol this game too.
yeah,
We
we did
switched
switch
to
the
pistol
pistol
to
this game.
even it up. Yep.
So it was in the running backs decision if you wanted to be in pistol or side saddle. Our running back Everett here loved to be in pistol. He felt like he had a little bit more downhill action, and you can get going to the line of scrimmage a little bit, which
Love it.
proved to be very successful. Here we had we're just gonna run power right, but we're gonna have the RPO out of it. So this is where we opened up the RPOs. We knew that these two corners like to back off right away, so it was just a quick hitch, not stutter your feet, just turn around and play catch. Um, Wish this was a little bit better of a ball and thrown a little bit quicker, but this corner took 4 hops backwards. Usually, if he can catch that with his feet, this kid over this receiver is a very twitchy receiver. He's a very fast kid. He makes one man miss, he's gone. So I wish it was a little bit better of a ball thrown. Why is it frozen? We told him earlier after we watched it, is he's taking too long on that play fake. It doesn't have to really be a token fake there. If you see it right away, just throw it. Right. So sometimes our quarterback liked to take his little time with these RPOs and it wasn't as quick. Um, he could have thrown that right away, right? Just throw it right away, play catch with the receiver and go. But it was a great little, 6 yard catch. Gets the chains moving on a 1st and 10. Gets us in a
Hey, we
second
saw
and 4
Indiana just
where
win
we
the
can.
national championship doing a ton of this type stuff. So
Yeah,
It's so hard to
and a lot
defend.
a lot
I mean,
of, I
it's so
mean, we
hard to
knew they
defend.
were going to play cover 4. Yeah, we knew they were going to play some cover 4 action, so we knew that we could throw these hitches right away, and it's better than those slants. I feel like it's an easier throw and catch for the receiver. Um, so that's what we threw a lot of these RPO hitches, a lot of RPO quick outs as well, and it was also on the receivers to no leverage. I mean, if he's playing outside leverage, we'll just run the hitch then. If he's playing inside leverage, bring your split in. Let's run a quick out and just play football fast and play smart football off of it. So this is
so coach,
one
let
of
me
my
ask
favorite
you.
plays. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, let me ask you, with that wing tight end, you talked about the tackle kind of basing and taking that 4 tech where he wants to go. What are you telling the
Hmm.
tight end to the side of the power? What are his kind of rules there?
To the side of the power.
Yes, sir.
So if we go here, so we're running off this RPO. This is just a power right for us, right? So this tackle will take this four technique. This tight end, this H back has responsibility for outside guy. We want him to base him out a little bit. So
So
angle him, take a
basically fan that outside backer too.
yeah, fan that outside backer. And Coach Sheahan does a great job with these Ys. He usually takes these Ys during Indy, and we took this number three. He's a basketball player. He's a never played tight end in his life, and he probably had one of his best games he's had in the state championship game. And this was like his coming out party. And I believe it is a testament to his learning ability and then coach's way of teaching how to fan this thing out. This guy normally would come up a little bit harder than that, but just get in. I mean, he didn't really do much there. Get into him and just take him where he wants to go, basically. This is our QB power. This is a version off of it. We like to run little QB power off a fly sweep, so we're reading that end. Well, this week we put in a lead. So this guy who normally would take a fly sweep play at or fake here is just going to go hit this end, and we're just going to run a running back up the middle. We're leading our guard through, and it's just a power lead basically with the running back in. Honestly, it wasn't blocked very well. This is just a great play by our quarterback. And for a kid who's 6'4", I don't know, 210, 215, he runs
He's
actually pretty
220. He
well.
just doesn't want to say he's 220. So
He runs pretty well, and he's a hard kid to take down at that size. And
That's a load.
right, I mean, he gets hit there, hit there, hit there, and he's off. And it was a huge play for us because we needed a spark at this point. I mean, at this point, we're down 15-0, and it's all pretty much the offense's fault. We started off with the pick six, and then we fumbled, and a couple plays later they scored, and so we're down based 2 turnovers off, or that they got points off of. So we needed a spark to get going again, and this kind of was a good spark for us. So really, this tight end over here needed to fan into this outside backer, and we were cracking this guy. We were going to leave that end, crack him like we do on our counter, crab block him basically. And this guy comes up to that play side backer with our quarterback following the running back, and it's just a good play by the quarterback there of just being an athlete and making something happen.
Nice little wrinkle off of stuff you guys already have
And then
in
this
there,
was
though.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, we came into it, I think, on our Monday install meetings. We just wanted to be basic. Just let us be simple. Let us do the things that we do well, and maybe a little wrinkle or two off of it, a little fastball, curveball off of what we do well. But going into it knowing, okay, we only have about four concepts that we're going to have run wise was a huge thing for these kids to just kind of breathe and take in because they know how to run the power, they know how to run the counter. It's what our bread and butter is. And so being more simple in that concept, I think, was really beneficial for us. And this is a play I don't think we ever ran once in the regular season, just a mesh concept, but we're running it with our two tight ends. These backers, as you can see right off the bat, are super aggressive, and so we just decided to run this little mesh, and it's just a nice little pitch and catch there, and get going.
Love it, Coach. That's good stuff.
this is beautiful. Like I'm just watching this,
We
just
told we told
enjoying. Like I love this. I love it.
we told Sean at the beginning of the week, hey, on these mesh concepts, when we bring these crossers, get depth as much as you can. Like we're treating it kind of as a screen. Allow those crossers to get past the hash or get past the tackle box, and then just throw it out. Nothing's going to get thrown across the middle, right? So get depth with it. Allow that to progress, and then just throw it where he's open. And basically, what he's reading is he's reading these two backers. Which one wants to come down further? Because they're responsible for that area, and so you can tell that this backer went right away. He sees, oh, I got a big gap. I'm going to blitz that right now. And he just leaves a void right here, leaves that big void, and we have a guy free. And this was another big spark for us. This is 4th and 1. Um, and we went to a bread and butter play. We went to counter, right? And we may have only got 1 yard on it, 1.5, but it was a huge, huge little spark for us to get going, right? Nice little drive there, and it was a big hole that he had. This shows it a little bit better. So same thing, he's in a fan out. We're gonna crack that. We're gonna crab block that guy down. And really, think our why kind of gets lost in our tackle really in our tackle really throwing this guy to the A gap. If he would have just been a little bit more patient here, I think he comes across and gets to this backer, and I think we pick up a couple more. But it was an effort play for us. It was a heart play where we needed that yard. We needed to keep this drive going. We need to score, and this is our wide delay. So off of a power, I would like it to be a little bit quicker. I would like him to act like he's blocking down a little bit and then just go out to the flat. He gets upfield a little bit too much, but a nice little wide delay there off of it. Picks up, 4 to 5, 6 yards, which is a nice little thing for us.
You guys are really versatile
We
with
ran
that
this
set.
play
That's a really
to
cool formation.
Yeah, I think we learned that we had guys to come in and play 12 personnel. We had the dudes who could block if we needed to run, and then we had the athletes as well to throw in for these passing concepts that we have, our base passing concepts. We didn't really install anything new on the passing game. And with this, we shifted over again, and we ran this play to start the game. This is where we threw the pick six on. But if he would have just thrown what he throws here, it would have been the same result. So we're running basically a flood concept, and we're ripping out of it. So we're moving that pocket to the right, and we're just running a little flood concept, a little quick out and a deep out, and we're just playing catch. Just throw it to the first guy you see that's open, and you go. We pick up yards, and we keep this drive moving. So it's a huge thing, especially when they don't adjust to us moving over. We knew that we had a void over here. I think the same
I'll
play,
tell you what, we'll
same
be
play,
in
just a
12 a
different look
lot
from
next year.
it.
We'll be 6'6", 6'4", and 6'6" at our Y position next year. It's crazy.
Is
It's
going to be
crazy.
quite the luxury. I tell you what, 12
Crazy.
personnel, you got 8 run
Yeah,
gaps, you got you got the threat of 4 verts. So I mean, that's tough stuff to deal with.
yeah, exactly. So there's just another RPO. It's out of a counter look, so we shifted over. We're going counter left. He's playing basically head up inside shade, and so he brings his split in, and he's just gonna run a quick out. I like him to make this to keep going north there, but you can't complain with a 5 yard, 6 yard, actually 7 yard gain. So
Coach, let me ask you, what is he looking at that's kind of telling him whether he wants to throw that ball out there or stick with the run? What are his tells that he's fixing on or he's looking at to let him know?
so if we one we like leverage. I always tell the quarterback, pick your leverage, right? So we like to read the box. They only really gave us a 7-man box. They like to play this 5-man front with the two backers, which in our 12 personnel we have the 7 dudes to block, right? So we have enough for the run game. But if this guy's playing way inside shade and this guy's playing inside shade, why not just take a little bit and throw the quick out there if you trust it? And Sean had the opportunity. I gave him a lot of leeway on this. He was throwing when he throws these outs, he's pretty accurate. He's pretty consistent with it, and I trusted that he was going to make these types of throws. And so really, it's just playing the hot hand. If he feels it, he's going to throw it. There's a one that we had. We're on the 1 yard line, and he throws a stupid RPO instead of just handing it off. Those are the mental things that, hey, just run it. Run it at that point. There's no need to throw that RPO on the 1 yard line. We'll just run it in. But in these aspects, when we're moving and you see, this backer drop down and you see him take a couple steps back and he's kind of coming in like this, throw the RPO. And it's something that we talk about on the sideline when they come off after every drive. If we see it, we're going to throw it. And I think this was after a drive where this receiver came up to me and said, hey, I got the quick out if it's there. And I relayed that to Sean, and Sean just trusted it. So
I will say, if I can add to that, kind of what we did to set it up and make sure they were backing off, and we'd have these RPOs. The kid at the bottom of the screen, Isaiah Steffen, number 2, he runs like a true 4-4, 4-4-5, like truly. And the wide receiver at the top, Dom's probably like a 4-5 kid too. So the first play of the game, when we ran, I think we ran power, we told those two to do nothing but show your speed to those corners. So all they did is, I want you to run a 40 and let that kid feel your speed the very first play of the game, because after that, I even talked to Coach Dunbot from St. John's, and he's like, my corners were so scared of your speed after that first time. He's like, they didn't even want to be anywhere near the box or anywhere within them. So we tried to scare them with speed to be able to just back them up. So it ended up working.
So that's primarily a pre-snap decision?
yeah, pre-snap decision. It's not a true put that ball in, actually reading the backer come down. If he sees it right away, he's just going to throw it. Um, I feel like it's a lot on a quarterback, especially at this level, to have multiple reads that he have to worry about. So if it's just a pre-snap situation and he's looking at leverage, just go with leverage. He'll count the box. If it's a 6-man box, we're going to hand it off every time. We have the numbers for that every time. But if it's a 7 or an 8-man box, play your leverage on the outside because RPO game's there.
I tend to agree with that, Coach. I think that's kind of the way to go, RPO, unless I just like that better at the high school level. But thank you for answering that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot on these kids. We tried to, when we get into this, our trio set, which is basically trips, bunch, we do a quick little spot off of it, and we read the box basically. If there's numbers in the box, run it. If the numbers are not in our favor, throw the spot, and the numbers will be in our favor to run the ball, and he'll still throw the spot route because quarterback wants to spin it.
You spinning it out like I don't know
He's
how
gonna
many
spin
times.
it.
Stop, Sean. Just freaking
So
hand it off. So yeah.
so we made it, like I said, we made this game so simple. So it was just a little, I'm catching the ball and I'm just playing catch with my buddy, and that's kind of what we wanted to do. Instead of having all these different reads that we have to go around and reading the box and read the man and all these things, we're just going to read the leverage. If it's there, throw it. If not, run the ball. Let's just see what we can get. So again, this is right off the bat. We're running this mesh again. You can see that that backer flew right away to that gap, and it just leaves this void again. And it's just no one's there, and we're able to make a big play. Nice explosive play on a mesh concept out of that 12 personnel. And this shows a little bit more. Sean's just getting depth, throwing it out there. And I'll tell you what, I mean, not enough can be said about a kid who's playing with a club. But this kid broke his hand. I don't know, Coach, when did he break his hand?
8 against PC.
Broke his hand, came back, playing in a club for this state championship game, had about 4 or 5 catches for 70-something yards, had a pick. And it just is it's a cool thing to have when you have guys who want to compete like that. and lay everything out on the line. And to have that trust in him to catch those things was nice to have. But it was a good little concept we had for this mesh is just throw it where the void is. If that backer leaves, throw it to the void, allow our guys to play football and go be playmakers. So we're running
Coach
before this
Sheehan,
we
I
ran an
think
outside zone and got about 4 or 5 off of it.
Sorry, what's that?
I was just going to say
Go ahead,
what
coach.
Coach is talking about there. I think that really kind of speaks to that championship mindset. And I would venture to say that probably has a lot to do with the fact you're really cognizant of trying to make practice enjoyable and competitive and fun. I think plays into that. They want to compete. They always want to go. And maybe adding a little bit of mental toughness in maybe not, I guess, an old school way that they would get you to mental toughness, but I think that really speaks to, and I think this is a really overused word, so I apologize, but I think that speaks to the culture in your guys' program that you've created in your practices, I would imagine.
I think you're 100% correct, and I think culture is an okay word to say. I think more people throw it away and they throw it around, and they want there to be a good culture. I truly think we got a great culture, and honestly, I will say this: there was one cool point during the state championship game. We're down 15-0. It's the end of the first quarter. We've got the ball. Number 8, the kid in the club, and Sheahan, number 4, our quarterback, come up to me, and they're literally we're down 15-0 at the end of the first quarter, and they're like, "Man, I'm having fun." Like, this is awesome. And I'm like, dude, we're down 15-0 right now. These dudes are having fun. We'll not compete. They go play by play. And honestly, I think culture is overused by people that don't have good culture. Or that want to go be chasing good culture. I feel like, and I'm just going to talk for a second. I know we're talking about this, but I think as a coaching staff, we have nobody that fights. It's decentralized command. Ty does a great job at what he does. We have 13 coaches at 2A school. That's unheard of. We have every single coach coming back. We don't have anybody fighting with each other. Like, I tell the boys I love them. He tells them I love them. I think the culture, when you say it, it's okay to say it's not a dirty word. We have an amazing culture, and that's what gets us through this. We might not be the best overall squad, have the exact best player of every single game that we roll the ball out, but I think culture does win, and these kids like love each other, care about each other, and want to roll, and to be having fun and talking about it down 15-0 at the first quarter, like, that is great culture. So I agree, Coach. I do. Sorry.
Yeah. To attest to that, I was on the bench with Sean, and the first thing he said to me after being down 15-0 and our offense giving up the 2 turnovers for those 2 scores is, "Coach, we're fine." And I didn't have to say anything. He said, "Coach, we're fine." And that's all I needed to hear from him. And it's just it's good to have that quarterback, that person who takes control of that offense, have that mindset of, "Hey, we're fine, fellas. We can move the ball. We're moving it fine. Stupid plays, stupid errors, and then we just get going and play the SCA football that we know how to play."
This boot's dirty right here too. This
Yeah.
boot is
So
dirty.
before this, we ran an outside zone. We motioned this guy over and we run outside zone left, and then we come back and we run a boot off of it. So we motion over. We act like we're gonna run this stretch outside zone, and it's just a nice little boot, pitch and catch, and get going. I wish he would have scored on this play, but just a guy who's fighting for those extra yards, and I love it.
That was a nice play action there. Gotta love that naked.
Naked boot, and honestly, Sean stood in and took a hit here, and it's a decent ball. It's an accurate ball. Stood in, took a hit, got it out to a guy who can make a play, and we go. And we're fighting. Other receivers are trying to block for him. Our linemen are going downfield, and we're all just trying to get him in the end zone. But it's a nasty little boot off of an outside zone stretch there. And then this is just a power here, so just a normal ace formation for us, and we're running power right and just nice and easy. So our tackle takes that 4 or 5 technique and trying to get him down to that A gap. We're skip pulling around Sammy's probably one of the best centers that I think I've seen play. He had a day with this 77. That's a big dude right there. He has to get down on him. And then I mean, it's just a giant hole. Nice little fan block there on that outside guy, and we're in the end zone. And that's the one that we talked about before. Sean threw the 1 yard RPO instead of just, running this power that we had called. So out of this is just a formate or a pass call that we called on the sideline. We kind of just drew it up as our slot guys running this out, and normally our outside receiver would take a go here, just a nice little out and go. Well, they're leaving this void at this hook curl, so we just decided to run a post curl here. Nice little open spot, just throw, play, catch. Nice little system out of it. But before that, it didn't show it. We were in our 12 personnel and we shifted out to doubles. So we had to make them adjust to us there to see if they would pop out their backers or not. This is another dirty one. So this is a Y cross that we have. I hate that it does that. But we're starting over. We were in our ace formation. We motioned over here. And same thing, we're just letting these backers be aggressive. These backers are aggressive all day long. We're getting behind them and running Y cross right there. Play, throw, and catch, and get going. So it's just an insert Y. He's running across the formation, finding that open space and going. This has a little bit better angle of it. In through the B gap, going over those backers, leaving a huge void, and just getting going. Nice little power run there. Good vision by Ev. This is where Ev kind of found himself again. Earlier on in the season, he would have bounced that thing outside, but he was patient here and cut it back north. We're fanning out, coming through to that backer, and then you just cut back. Nice little 7 yard run.
I love how tight your guard was on the pull.
Yeah, so we teach skip pull, be tight. We don't want to have that big loop around that big U. Be tight, get going, and get north. Coach said at the beginning of the video, we don't have these big dudes that run duo or zone to get vertical in the double teams. We have fast guys who are pretty agile and pretty they're great athletes. So just use your speed, get out and go. And if we can skip pull, get out and go, and get through someone's face there, then that's what we want to do. This is a little Y pop out of this, so a little power we're faking here, letting those backers get come forward, and we're just going right behind that backer again.
This is a
Nice
great
little
ball
Y
right here.
pop. I hope I have the other side of it, but it's a tight window that he had to throw through those two backers, and it was another huge gain just by that. Just a little nice RPO play action basically for this this Y. You see he fakes like he's gonna come out to this guy, and he's just gonna cut right off his inside. Right there, nice little slant action off of it, and a little pop.
That's such a good ball, dude.
I mean,
I don't care where you are at, dude. Hey, that thing is being 6'4" is pretty nice sometimes. Like that thing is perfect in his stomach
yeah,
too.
yeah. So like I was saying before this video started, I mean, this was three's coming out party. This was Kyle's coming out party. But having a dude who's 6'4" come across the middle of the field is easier to see. So um, for that Y pop to happen right there, it was just a nice little target for Sean to throw to. And like Coach said, it's just a fantastic ball. And this we're running counter. But this is out of our 11 personnel actually. So we switched over to 11 here. Same thing. We're going down. We're coming out, and we're just hitting the hole.
That's pretty football.
This is another QB lead. And it's pretty when that thing hits and that gap opens up. They didn't have the end zone footage of this or that last one, but it's like Mozart. I think Coach said it last year. We ran this play that we called Dixie, and it's like when Moses split the sea. I mean, it was just straight up the field, and it's just like when Mozart plays, and that's when a counter hits on the hash. It's pretty cool to see. This is this power QB lead again. We're bringing that running back, that Y through, and just letting a quarterback play football who likes to run the football a little bit.
Sean was a little slow to the hole right there. Like he should have just caught it and gone. But
Yeah.
anyways, that's picky for right now. So just numbers game.
Yeah. A
That's
little
what I
slow
love
to the
about it. It's
hole,
just a numbers
just
game.
numbers game. Yeah.
You run your quarterback, and
This was a
they
concept
can't
coach.
account for that.
Yep. This is a concept coach brought up last year for our state semi game against Santan. Is we had this little concept that we're pulling a guard through, we're pulling the Y through, and we're going straight to their backers. Well, this is kind of adding on to it. We're just bringing that running back with it as well, and just they can't account for the quarterback in that situation. And having a quarterback who's that big who can run is actually kind of nice to have. And we were very very fortunate to have somebody like that. You don't get that every year, and it worked out for us. And again, I mean, this could have been a hitch situation, but he was inside leverage here, and he's 10 yards off because at this point, Zay's been running these goes at him all day long, and this is where they started to be a little bit afraid of that deep ball. And so Zay just turned this into a quick out, caught this ball, and got upfield. Wish he would have made that man miss, but it's a nice little RPO route. I mean, I'll take that all day long. Gets us in a third and short in that situation.
Did you put Dixie in here? Did you cut that Santan play, or did you only did state championship games? Ty?
I have Dix. I didn't put it in this, but I have it if we wanted to watch it because
I think
it's a beautiful
it's
play.
probably my favorite play. It's such a cool concept, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a little RPO there. We're going power left. Nice big old hole. So we ran this power, but we did it with the. Why does it do this thing? With having that extra tight end over here, we just kind of sent him through the hole too and made it look like our Dixie that we like to run. And it's just another blocker that goes through that hole to that backer. And it just opened it up a little bit more. So this was adjustment after halftime is what we wanted to do with our power game. You see it pretty well from this side.
And that looks pretty
Is
too.
he just kind
That
of goes
looks
through the
pretty.
hole that guard comes through. We're trying to split this gap and going. Great seal block by Samuel there, and he's just off, doesn't get touched.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's superpower-esque a little bit there.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we're just trying to get with the way that we motioned over and they didn't really adjust with it. We had an extra guy to play with, so just send him through and let him go find color, and it seemed to work for us in that situation. This is just a little counter. No, it's the same play. I've already seen that one. Did
That's
I
how
have
I'm
that
familiar,
twice?
yeah.
I had that twice. Yeah.
You liked it. You wanted to see it again.
Well, it was a pretty play, and this looks like the end zone copy, which, gentlemen, I could sit here and watch this film with you all day, but I do have to get my daughter at flag
Yep.
football practice. But I just that is a perfect one to end on, because that is, you talk about Mozart. That is absolutely beautiful football right there.
Yeah,
You get that kick out, you get that lead
right
up right
there.
there down there with that great view. Yeah, that is beautiful stuff. Again, guys, I just want to say thank you so much. I really, really appreciate y'all taking the time to walk us through this stuff. 12 personnel is something we haven't had coaches cover, so really, really appreciative of all the time you guys shared with us today. Some absolutely great stuff. I look forward to watching your continued success with Scottsdale Christian Academy. You guys have done an amazing job. Congratulations on an incredible run, and continued success to y'all. And we will see everybody again next time for another edition of the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show.
Thanks for having us, my man. Appreciate you, dude.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.